Okay. All right, well, since we have a quorum, I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting into session. Again, I'd like to say good morning to everyone. Today's date is Wednesday, November 18, 2020. Calling this session of the Wayne County Ethics Board into session. It's now 9 o'clock. At this time, we're going to go through the items of our agenda. The first item, item A, is our roll call. Is Ms. Lewis present?
Yes, good morning.
Good morning.
To comply with the recent amendments to the Open Meetings Act as it relates to meeting virtually, I am reading the following. Each member is acknowledging that they are attending the meeting via Zoom and that they are located in Wayne County, Michigan, unless otherwise stated when I call your name. Mr. Young, Mr. Hendricks.
Here, and I'm in Detroit, Michigan.
Ms. Hamoud.
I'm here, and I am in Wayne County. I'm in Dearborn.
Ms. Buciero. Ms. Buciero, I did see her name
Audio may not
on the screen. She could be muted. Does anyone else see her name still up here?
I did see her name earlier, and I saw her picture as well. So she may be having problem with the audio.
Okay, 1 second. Let me see if I can mute her. Unmute her.
So I understand she's here. Yeah.
Ms. Buciero? Dr. Carnell? Mr. Pinkins?
I'm here and I'm in Detroit, Michigan.
Okay. Well, I'm not sure if Ms. Buciero is present. She will make a quorum. I do see her name, but she's not saying anything. So I'm not sure if that will qualify as a quorum or not if she is not saying anything. It says she's present. Okay, you have a quorum present.
Okay, thank you for that, Mr. Lewis. All right, moving right along to our agenda, the items on our agenda. We're moving on to item B, which is the approval of the July 15, 2020 meeting minutes. I know it's been some months now since we've last conducted a meeting. I'm going to ask if everyone had the opportunity to receive the last meeting minutes from the July 15, 2020 meeting, and if everyone has had the opportunity to review them.
I did.
Mr. Chairman, I move approval of the minutes.
Second.
The second, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
So opposed, excuse me, so noted, the ayes have it, so moved. Moving on to the next item on our agenda is the item C, which is unfinished business. I know we have item number one is a complaint from Mr. Malini D. Kupama. It's regarding the prosecutor's office employee. Just going to ask to make sure all members present has had the opportunity to receive the complaint from Mr. Kupama and has had the opportunity to review it.
I did. I still see the form not signed, at least with the one that I reviewed. Did we receive a signed and notarized form yet?
Mr. Williams,
yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. We did do some attempted follow-up with Ms. Kupama. We have not received the signed complaint form, so I'm not really sure there's much more that can be said or done with this unless and until she submits the form. She's gotten a letter, she's gotten a phone call, she isn't responding.
Okay, and what's the time frame that we're working with here? How long has it been since we received the complaint to the time that we haven't received a response from Mr. Kupama?
Well, I believe this was back in the summer of this year. Just double check. We sent her a letter in July, on July 6th of 2020.
All right.
Also, Mr. Chair, this is Joe. We have not received an email from her. I checked the email box about 20 minutes ago, and also I checked the U.S. mail a week ago Friday, which was November 5th. I went down to November 6th. I went down to the building, and we also did not have it at that point.
Okay. Well, at this point, is there a recommendation from Mr. Williams regarding this complaint from Mr. Cooperman?
Well, my recommendation would be just to dismiss it without prejudice. If she wants to refile it at some later date, she can do that.
Is there a second? Excuse me. Is there a motion to adopt Mr. Williams's recommendation at this time?
I move to adopt.
Is there a motion at this time to adopt Mr. Williams's recommendation?
I move to adopt.
I'll second.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries. So moved. Moving on to the next item on our agenda, we have item, I believe this, we're getting into new business. Item number D. And number one, we have a presentation of a certificate of appreciation to former board vice chair, Judge Ed McCall Thomas. I'm not sure if Mr. Thomas, Judge Thomas is present with us. You know, he was present the last couple meetings over the summer, or the time we'd met back in July. Do we know if he's present at this time? Okay. Well, what I'll do, Mr. Slizak, if it's appropriate to just read this into the record. I understand you've already delivered the certificate to to Judge McCall Thomas.
Yes, I did deliver it to him. It was a couple weeks ago. I delivered it to his home, and we had a nice conversation. So.
Okay. Well, at this time, what the chair will do is, since Mr. McCall Thomas is not present with us, as noted, he was present at the last meeting when we had first announced this. However, at that meeting, we didn't have a quorum. The chair will go ahead and read into the record the Wayne County Ethics Board Certificate of Appreciation. So at this time, we are presenting this certificate of appreciation on the record from the Wayne County Ethics Board. It's a certificate of appreciation presented to Judge Edward McCall, former vice chair of the Wayne County Ethics Board, in appreciation of his years of service and dedication to the board. And we want to wish him the best and thank him for his years of service. I do note that the certificate has each individual board member's name, although with COVID, we weren't able to individually sign it, but it does have our names. So I just wanted to read that into the record. If there's a motion to adopt the presentation of certificate of appreciation to the former board vice chair, Judge McCall, at this time, the chair can accept it. If there's a motion not to adopt it, the chair can entertain. Is there any motion at this time?
Motion to adopt.
Motion to adopt. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you so much. Moving right on to our next item of our agenda, which is a complaint from Miss Aisha M. Taylor regarding the Wayne County Jail. Did all the board members get the opportunity to receive the complaint from Miss Taylor?
I did.
And has everyone had the opportunity to review it? And at this time, I'm going to ask if there's any recommendations from Mr. Williams regarding the complaint.
Yes. Thank you again, Mr. Chair. The complaint form was not signed and it was not notarized. It did not identify a specific person that or employee of Wayne County that was involved with the matters raised in the complaint. My recommendation would again be, since we communicate with Ms. Taylor on August 19th of 2020, and we have not received a properly completed complaint form, that this matter be dismissed without prejudice.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt the recommendation by Mr. Williams at this time? That the complaint be dismissed without prejudice.
Motion to adopt.
Is there a second?
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 All opposed? The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Moving on to the next item of our agenda, we have item number 3. We have a complaint from a Mr. Rinaldo J. Colbert. And I apologize if I'm mispronouncing his name. It's regarding a Wayne County friend of the court case. I'm asking if all board members had the opportunity to review this complaint from Mr. Colbert, and had the opportunity to review it. Anyone that hasn't received the complaint, let us know. All right, at this time, if there's any questions regarding the complaint from any board members. All right, if there's a recommendation at this time from Mr. Williams regarding the complaint from Mr. Colbert.
Yes, Mr. Chair. We did communicate with Mr. Colbert on August 19th of 2020, indicating that his complaint appeared to relate to his ex-wife and not necessarily an employee, contractor, or an elected official of Wayne County. And that as a result, we did not think it fell within the jurisdiction of the ethics board. Mr. Colbert has not come back with any additional information that would suggest that there is a employee, elected official, or contractor of Wayne County involved, and therefore I would recommend dismissal of this complaint without prejudice.
Okay, is there a motion to adopt the recommendation?
I would make a motion, Mr. Chairman. Mrs.
I'll
Freeman.
second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The motion is adopted. Moving right on to the next item on our agenda, we have a complaint from Nate Braden. It's regarding the Woodhaven Police Department. I take it that all members have received a copy of Mr. Braden's complaint. If there's any questions from any members at this time, I can entertain those. Chair. No questions, then I'm going to move on to Mr. Williams to ask for his recommendation regarding the complaint from Mr. Braden.
Yes, my recommendation, Mr. Chair, is that this complaint be dismissed again without prejudice. It appears that his complaint is against the Woodhaven Police Department and not an employee, contractor, or elected official of Wayne County.
Okay, at this time, is there a motion to adopt the recommendation from Mr.
So
Williams?
moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
The ayes have it. All opposed? The ayes have it. Moving on, so moved. Moving on to the next item on our agenda is a complaint from Salvatore LaFranca. It's regarding a private business. Again, I'm assuming all the board members have had the opportunity to review the complaint from Mr. LaFranca. And if there's any questions at this time from any members, Chair will entertain them. No questions, then I'm going to move on to Mr. Williams regarding a recommendation regarding the complaint from Mr. LaFranca.
Yes, I communicated with Mr. LaFranca, Mr. Chairman, indicating that his complaint did not fall within the jurisdiction of the ethics board, consistent with the discussion we had about not even necessarily getting into acceptance of the complaint. Was telling me that this was not within the jurisdiction of the ethics board because it related to a private manufacturer. So I would recommend dismissal of this complaint.
All right, is there a motion?
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion that we dismiss.
Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. This time we're going to adopt the recommendation. The motion has been moved to dismiss the complaint from Mr. LaFranca. I do note that, let the record reflect and note that Ms. Vice Chair, Dr. Carnell is present. She has arrived. Good morning, Dr. Carnell.
Good morning, everyone.
All right, so moving on to the next item of our agenda, which is item number 6. We have a complaint from a Mr. Robert Dublin regarding a private business. Again, I'm going to assume that everyone has received a copy of the complaint. And if there's any questions regarding the complaint from any member, the chair is going to entertain that at this time. If there's no questions, then I'm going to move on to Mr. Williams. Mr. Williams would ask for your recommendation regarding the complaint from Mr. Dublin.
Yes, I believe, again, consistent with the discussion we had earlier, I wrote to Mr. Dublin indicating that his complaint did not fall within the jurisdiction of the Ethics Board as it related to a private business operation, and therefore the board could not accept it. And so I recommend that it be dismissed.
Okay.
Motion to adopt.
Support.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. The motion carries. So moved. All right, moving on to the next item of our agenda. We have a complaint from Arizona Vaughn regarding a nonprofit organization. Again, the chair is going to assume all members have received a copy of the complaint from Arizona Vaughn, and if there's any questions at this time, the chair will entertain them from any members. If there's no questions, we're going to move on to Mr. Williams and ask for his recommendation regarding the complaint from from Arizona Vaughn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Again, Ms. Vaughn's complaint appears to relate to a private nonprofit corporation. I wrote to Ms. Vaughn and indicated to her that this was a private corporation, and as a result, it did not fall within the jurisdiction of the Wayne County Ethics Board. And unless she had further information, my recommendation would be to dismiss this complaint without prejudice. And I use without prejudice here because there seemed to be some tax issues that she was raising, but she was really complaining more about the nonprofit corporation than the treasurer's office.
Okay. And at this time, is there any questions of Mr. Williams right now? And is there a motion to adopt the recommendation of Mr. Williams regarding the complaint from Arizona Vaughn?
So move.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. So moved. Moving on to the next item of our agenda, we have a complaint from a Thomas P. Broich regarding the Wayne County Board of Canvassers, a Wayne County Board of Canvassers member. Again, the chair is going to assume that everyone has received the documentation and complaint from Mr. Broich regarding the Wayne County Board of Canvassers member. At this time, is there any questions from any members regarding the complaint?
No.
And at this point, I'll move on to Mr. Williams to ask him if he is any recommendations from him.
Well, Mr. Chair, I think it's premature to actually get into substantive discussions of this complaint. I do think it meets the basic requirements of the ordinance for consideration by the board, but before there's any formal discussion, I think it has to be submitted to Ms. Palmer and to receive an answer, and then a response from the complaining party, Mr. Brush, and then we would go from there to actually set a hearing. So I've asked Ms. Palmer's attorney identified in various newspaper articles that were surfaced about this complaint, although he hasn't responded to my letter, but it has only been a couple of days. So I've asked him to accept service, but if I don't have communication from the attorney by tomorrow, then I'm going to go ahead and serve Ms. Palmer directly.
Through the chair, this is Joe. I received word shortly before the meeting that Ms. Palmer's attorney is Mr. Stu Sandler, sorry, and he is, at least as of a few minutes ago, he was present on this call.
Yeah, Mr. Williams, this is Stu Sandler, and I've been asked this morning to represent Ms. Palmer. I don't have much bearing on what this hearing is about or the complaint, so I would ask for a continuance of this, but I could arrange to accept service.
Okay. Well, thank you, Mr. Sandler. And as I said, this is not yet actually formally before the board. My recommendation is that it meets the basic requirements. And so from that point, we would go to actually service of your client with the complaint through you, and then she would have 21 days to answer the complaint. So I will get you a copy of the complaint today via email, assuming that your name is in the bar journal with an email address.
Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, and so I will actually get a copy out to you this morning.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay. All right, so at this time, Mr. Williams, what is your suggestion regarding this matter? We're gonna go ahead and serve the complaint, and then we're gonna start the clock for the time to response.
Yes.
What would be your recommendation regarding this matter going forward? Is there a motion to, are you recommending a motion to table this matter?
Well, I think it's really a recommendation to commence the formal process for consideration of the complaint by the board. I think it meets the minimum requirements of the ordinance. And so my recommendation is that the board officially adopt a position of commencing the process for consideration of the complaint.
Is there a second to the motion? Is there a motion to adopt the recommendation by Mr. Williams at this time?
I'll put the motion.
I support it.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. So moved. The recommendation by Mr. Williams to adopt his recommendation for this matter and to follow the normal process has been accepted, and so moved. Moving on to the next item of our agenda, item number 9. We have a discussion about adding clarifying language to the Ethics Board quote, contact us webpage. I think Mr. Williams was working on this, if I'm not mistaken. Mr. Williamson, can you update us on this matter at this time?
Oh, maybe I missed it, Mr. Chair. I don't know that maybe I missed that one.
Mr. Slezak, were you working on this matter regarding updating the information on the contact page for the website?
Actually, there was meant to be discussion to see. I know that it was something that had been discussed informally since we didn't have a quorum at the last meeting. So it was obviously an informal discussion on wanting to add language onto that contact us page to essentially, because we have had a number of complaints received that obviously are not within the jurisdiction of the board. I mean, if the board would like to have clarifying language put there, I mean, under Mr. Williams' guidance. Also, there's one other thing that Ms. Buciero, we need, because you didn't, during a roll call, you didn't say that you were here. We need to acknowledge that you're here. So I'm sorry about that.
The chair will, for the record, acknowledge that Ms. Buciero is present.
Yep, and she needs to say that she is present and, yep, so sorry.
I'm sorry. I was having some volume issues. I didn't hear the first part of the meeting, so I didn't know my name was being called. And I realized that when I saw the chat start to use my name. So I apologize for that. I am present.
You also have to indicate that you're in Wayne County, Ms. Buciero.
I am in Wayne County. I am in Grosse Pointe Woods.
Or wherever you are.
Okay. All right. At this time, since
Mr. Chair, may I recommend that I review the web page, because I haven't really officially looked at it, to see what we could do to offer some clarifying language, much like we added to the complaint form, perhaps.
And also, I communicated with our with the communications team here with the commission, and the verbiage can be added. I mean, whatever the board wants to add, it can be added.
Okay. Also, at this time, is there a recommendation, Mr. Williams, that you're going to look further into this matter at this time? Or?
Yeah, I would recommend that we defer this matter until the next formal meeting of the board. By that time, I will have looked at the webpage and perhaps crafted or some language to recommend to the board for adoption to include on the page to assist the public in understanding what the jurisdiction of the board entails.
At this time, is there a motion to adopt the recommendation from Mr. Williams?
So moved, Mr. Chairman.
Is there a second?
Yes, support.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Those opposed? The ayes have it. It's so moved. Moving on to the next item of our agenda, which is item E. We have such other matters as may be properly submitted before the board. At this time, if there's any other matters before the board, the chair is just going to take a quick minute. And obviously, since we're on these Zoom calls, you see some of the comments. The chair would normally not do this, but I do want to just address one comment that the chair did see. And I just want to just for the public and as well as the board members, we do know this. When complaints come before this board, we do have a process to review those complaints. They do go before our attorney for the board who will screen those complaints to see if they are properly submitted and if those complaints come within the jurisdiction of the board, the ethics board. And the complaints that we have gone through and motions have been adopted to dismiss those complaints clearly on their face and through further contact with some of the complainants. They don't meet the jurisdiction or they don't fall within the jurisdiction of this board. So at that point, then obviously many of the recommendations are to move on and dismiss it, particularly where the complainant hasn't complied with our attorney to provide a proper complaint, signatures, notarization, what have you, or allege an actual ethics board violation. So at that point, the recommendations from our attorneys, the attorney for the board generally may be adopted to dismiss the complaint with prejudice, without prejudice, meaning that if the person wants to resubmit the complaint in its proper form, the board will hear it again. So I just wanted to address a comment that I did see, and I just wanted to because it is, I think, a valid comment from the general public regarding the process, because I don't want the general public to think that the board is just summarily dismissing complaints. Those complaints go through a process, and if they don't meet the process, don't come within the jurisdiction, then a lot of times those complaints may become dismissed because they're not within the jurisdiction of this board, or the complainant, as mentioned, hasn't complied with the rules with respect to filing a complaint. And we do give them ample enough time to comply with the rules. And so if they don't, then we may dismiss it without prejudice, meaning that they can later come back and file a complaint that actually fits within the jurisdiction of the ethics board and actually assert an actual violation from the ethics ordinance. So with that said, I'm going to move on. If there's any other such matters as before the board at this time.
One thing, this is Joe. I'm basically setting the next meeting date. The third Wednesday in December, the 16th, is available. So if the board would like to meet then.
Would that be enough time though for Ms. Palmer to respond? Because that would basically be at the top of our agenda.
Yeah, and one problem is she gets to respond, Ms. Luciero, and then Mr. Bruce would have to come back with his response to her.
Exactly.
So would that be enough time for the 16th, or?
I don't think so. Under the terms of the ordinance, she would have 21 days from today, which would, basically take you to the 9th. And Mr. Bruce would have 7 days from her response to respond.
And then there'd be another 7 days on top of that for the response to the response.
Yes.
Now, historically, I don't recall us meeting in December, and we usually push things back to January. And I know that if we do meet in the first or second week of January, if any of those dates are available, that would probably be enough time for everyone to have received responses and have been able to respond to those.
Also, I might add that the commission's committee meeting schedule for the new term, which starts in January, has not been set yet. But once we know, obviously I can reach out to everyone on the board, and then once we have a date determined, then we will put it on the website.
All right, well, the chair is open to moving this meeting, the next meeting, until January, if it gives it the complainant and the respondent this time, in this case, enough time to respond to the complaint and the obviously the response to the response to come in as well, so that we can move this matter forward. I believe Mr. Williams was still operating within, was it the 45-day window, or was 57 days or something?
No, I think it's 120, yes.
120 days, excuse me. So we're still within that window. So if the chair has no problems scheduling the next meeting for January, so that all matters can be in compliance and we can move this matter forward. Is there a date available, Mr. Slezak? And I do know that you mentioned that the commission is meeting. Is there another date, say the 12th or the 19th, excuse me, the 13th or the 20th that works in January?
Well, we don't have the committee schedule set yet for the next term, so I really can't answer that question. So we don't know exactly what will be available at this, until the schedule is set in the new term.
All right, so at this time, can we set a tentative date? That way, at least the parties can know a date that they'll come back and actually we'll have a hearing on this matter. If we need to change that date, we can notify the parties, but at this point, we can set a tentative date in January.
Well, the third Wednesday would be the 20th.
Does that work for everyone's calendar at this time?
Yes.
Yes.
All right, well, I move that is there a motion to adopt
What's that date again? Mr. Chairman?
January 20th?
Okay.
Inauguration Day.
Yeah, that's right.
We
That's
hope.
gonna be a great day in America. Yeah, that works. That works for me, Mr. Chairman.
Okay, all right, well, at this time, is there a motion to adopt that date? Given, and also given the fact that we are going to be missing the month of December, the chair has no problems scheduling this for January. If we don't meet again, obviously the chair is going to wish everyone happy holidays. But I do want to just put it on the record that we are, just so that we have a motion to adopt the date in January, moving so that we can allow all parties with respect to the Broich matter, Wayne County Board of Canvassers member, to get all complaints, all documentation in so that we can move forward in a hearing on that matter. So at this time, is there a motion to adopt the date of January 20, 2021 as the date for the next ethics board meeting? Just for the record.
Motion to adopt.
Support.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? So moved. Motion carries. The next meeting is going to be January 20th, 2021 at 9 a.m.
Righty.
At this point, we're going to move on to item F on our agenda, which is public comments. Is there any public comments at this time?
Mr. Pingas, we do have comments to be read into the record. We'd like to do that first, if possible.
Sure, go right ahead.
Okay.
I have a few as well, Joe.
Okay. Yep. So I guess we'll start with mine. Let's see. Starting with Marlene Consiglio, and her it was received last night. And I understand there's an ethics complaint against Monica Palmer that you will be considering Wednesday. Not sure if this is within your purview, but it is certainly disturbing that Tuesday night she would not certify the votes in Wayne County for the presidential election. She stated that other parts of the state should be certified, but not in Wayne County. If this is not blatant racism, I do not know what it is, and I think this truly gives you a good idea of her character and beliefs. A comment received early this morning from Abby Jones. Monica Palmer has demonstrated her lack of integrity, morals, and comprehension of the law and bipartisan interest to engage in voter suppression. There were slight and immaterial discrepancies that happened in the Wayne County election, and she chose a blatantly racist position in her attempt to exclude Detroit but not Livonia. As a long-term proponent of the Republican Party, we should not allow unilateral allegiances to overthrow democracy, that this is a threat to democracy. From Steve Lear, received this morning. If you need evidence of election fraud, look no further than Palmer and Hartman. They spread lies to help Trump throw away Wayne County Biden votes. Replace these two crooks with honest GOP members if you can find any. Received this morning from John Kangas. Why in the hell is Ned Stabler threatening the Republicans on the Board of Canvassers? Do you know how bad this looks to the rest of the country? Do you care? The rest of the country wants to see the results in Wayne County closely scrutinized. There were too many shady things happening in Wayne County's election. We need complete transparency. What actions are you going to take to prevent Mr. Stabler's abuse of the other board members? Does he face disciplinary actions? Thank you. And then another one received email this morning from Anthony Scannell. Hello, Wayne County Board of Canvassers members Monica Palmer and William Hartman took their hoods off yesterday in their initial assertions that the county certify every city's vote except for Detroit's. How sickening it was to hear, but good, I guess, that the power of the people's voices was able to persuade them to reverse course, but not before the grotesque nature of their social media pages were published worldwide for the internet to see. It was almost like The Apprentice season 17. Their actions have brought immeasurable shame upon the whole county, and I, as a lifelong resident, I urge this board to can their racist behinds. And let me just check to see. Yep, and those are the ones that I have. And then Sherelle, I said you have additional.
You read those. Pam sent it to both of us. So you
Okay,
read
the one for Mr. Scannell. Okay, so, and then for comments, of any public comments, we need whoever is making the comments to basically spell their name, first name and last name for the record, please.
Wait, I do have another email comment actually.
Okay.
This is from Laura Kellett from Grosse Pointe Farms. She says Monica Palmer is reportedly part of a dark money pact, taxpayers for GP schools, involved in a local school board election in Wayne County while serving on the Board of Canvassers. Campaign literature reportedly produced by the pact was so riddled with misinformation that one of the candidates was censured by the local school board. If Ms. Palmer is involved with the pact, that will create a conflict of interest with her position overseeing free and fair elections. Ms. Palmer's statements at the Board of Canvassers meeting yesterday, in which she tried to certify all of Wayne County except Detroit, despite other communities having greater variances in their vote totals, reveal further conflicts of interest as well as blatant racism. My hope is that she will have resigned before the meeting. Otherwise, she must be removed from her position on the Board of Canvassers. Thank you. That was all right.
Okay, thank you for that, Ms. Lewis. Is there any other public comments at this time? And I'm just going to ask for the people who are on Zoom, on the call here, or on the conference here, if you can, before you make your comment, if you can state your name and where you're located in the county. If you're in the county, in Wayne County, then you can proceed with your comment. Ms. Slizak, do we have a number of people, or?
There are a number of people on the call, but anyone can actually make comments regardless of where they are, because this is a public meeting.
All right, so at this time, I'm going to ask the first person if someone would like to make a comment. We're going to open the floor for you to do so.
Yes, I would like to make a comment. Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. My name is Thomas Bruch, and for the record, that's spelled Thomas, last name Bruetsch. And to the extent it matters, I am in Wayne County today. I am a complainant, as you indicated, in the matter of Ms. Palmer, and thank you for your consideration of that complaint today. As we all know, the Board of Canvassers that is chaired by Ms. Palmer met yesterday, and I would say that Ms. Palmer's conduct at the meeting yesterday was the best argument or example that I could give as to why her conflicts of interest disqualify her from public service on the Wayne County Board of Canvassers. Ms. Palmer attempted to disenfranchise hundreds of thousands of Wayne County voters, including residents of the city of Detroit, on the basis of her own personal interests and her decision that fealty to a person or a party was more important than her obligation to serve the residents as a public servant of the County of Wayne. I think this morning we are very fortunate that her actions constituted ultimately only an embarrassment rather than a travesty, but her conduct does exemplify the reasons that we made this complaint, given that she has undertaken conduct that conflicts with and is incompatible with her office as chair of the Board of Canvassers. So I do thank you for your consideration of the complaint and look forward to further action on this matter. Thank you.
Thank you for that comment, Mr. Broich, and I apologize if I'm not pronouncing that correctly. Obviously, Mr. Broich, since you are the attorney for the complainant or the complainant itself, because she has an attorney, and you're also an attorney, my understanding, if I'm not correct, because she also has representation, I believe it's Mr. Stu Sandler. If he's still present, if he would like to make a comment as well, we're going to have to allow him to also make a comment if he would like to make a comment. If not, then so be it. But I just wanted to make sure everything was fair because you have made a comment on her behalf and her, on your behalf of the complaint. And her attorney is I think my understanding is present. And if you would like to make a comment, then we will have to also entertain his comment as well. If not, we'll move on to the next comment. Comment. At this time, Mr. Sandler, is there a comment you would like to make? Is Mr. Sandler still present? Okay. Well, then he isn't. What we're going to do is we're going to move on to the next comment. Is there any other comments at this time?
Yes, I would like to make a comment.
Yes, Mr. Bowens, how are you? Good morning.
Good. Good morning, Mr. Chair and honorable members of the committee. We really appreciate the work that you do. I'm in Grosse Pointe Park here in Wayne County. And Tom, the attorney, just spoke to the complaint. I want you to know that there are families across the 5 Grosse Pointes where Mrs. Palmer was engaged with her pack, which gave rise to the complaint in and of itself. You know, we are really grateful that you are taking this complaint seriously and that you are opening an investigation into it. We appreciate it because we feel like that her position as chair of the Wayne County Board of Canvassers is a sacred position that does not allow for people to engage in this kind of skullduggery. And so, you know, we look forward to you continuing your investigation. We look forward to the next meeting. And ultimately, we look forward to you holding Ms. Palmer accountable so that people in the future will not engage in this kind of activity when they serve as chair of the board. So thank you very much, Mr. Chair, for this opportunity. Freeman, thank you for your service, and everybody, Avery, we really do appreciate the work that you do, and we look forward to the next meeting.
Thank you.
And through the chair, we do have several people in the chat who said they would like to make a comment. So if I could read off their names and they could go next, if you will, if that's okay.
That's fine.
Ms. Elena Harada. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it also.
Good morning, Ms. Harada.
Here. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I'm just speaking as a citizen of the city of Detroit, as a resident, and for many, many years, we have had difficulty with our election process. And the idea that Detroiters go through what we go through to vote, and to have someone actually move to silence an entire city who is in an official position it's not sufficient to ask her to step down. It's not sufficient to just remove the 2 people that attempted to steal our votes from us, but then back down when there was too much pushback. There really should be much greater recourse for the voters of the city of Detroit. There are those many, many people among us who never, ever miss an election. For no matter how small the office, we never miss an election. We treasure our votes to the extent that someone would be able to say this entire city should not be counted is basically would be allowing Wayne County, if they were allowed to stay, it's basically saying that Jim Crow is acceptable. And I'm asking for some kind of recourse for the citizens of Detroit, not just thank you.
And then No, we have some background noise here that should be muted. The next request is from Cassie Jones McBride.
Yes, good morning, Ms. McBride.
Good morning. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay,
Yes, we can.
great. I reside in Wayne County, and I was present at the TCF on November 4th, and I saw the ways that intimidation happened in this process. Although I am not fully aware of the reasons behind why Monica Palmer was brought in front of the board today. But if her actions last night was any indication, I can understand why she will be brought here. She was transparent in her racism in saying that she was only interested in invalidating votes in Detroit and no other city. She was not invested in the integrity of the process, but only to disenfranchise Black and Brown people. She is channeling to her constituents in the GOP party that she holds dear, that she is going to act within her authority to suppress the voices and votes of Black people in this city. She does not need to lead any body of people, and holding the responsibility and not, at the very least, not be racist and not be a partisan. So I look forward to the next step in the formal hearing, and I hope that we will move to remove her from her position.
Okay, thank you for that comment.
Also, we've reminded that speakers do have a 3-minute limit. The next person is Rosie Stefanatos Knapp, and I'm sorry if I mispronounced it.
Yes, Ms. Knapp.
Hello. Hello.
Good morning.
Good morning. It was a good pronunciation. Thank you. Appreciate that effort. So I am a resident of Wayne County, and I just want to say that Ms. Palmer has been involved in political behavior contrary to her position on the Board of Canvassers. That position is one of great responsibility. Ms. Palmer has shown her lack of judgment, objectivity, and integrity. She has shown a willingness to operate a partisan pack in what should have been a nonpartisan race for the school board in Grosse Pointe. I'm pleased that the board is moving forward with the ethics complaint, and I hope that this board understands the gravity of the complaint against Ms. Palmer and the division, the racism, and the blatant disregard for her responsibility to represent the voters of Wayne County. Thank you very much.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that comment.
And the next comment is, they didn't put an actual name in here. It's EHGURULE. So if that person can please spell out their proper name. Thank you.
Hello, that's me. My name is Elisa, E-L-I-S-A, Gurule, G-U-R-U-L-E. I live in Grosse Pointe Park, which is where I am right now. And I would also just like to add my voice to those calling for the removal of Monica Palmer from the Board of Canvassers. Her behavior last night was obviously reprehensible, and everyone in the whole world, it seemed like, could see what she was up to. But I would like to urge, again, people to pay attention to the complaint that is brought today. Her actions in the Grosse Pointe school board election were really underhanded, really shady, very anti-democratic with a small d. And I would just like to urge people to pay very close attention to that complaint that is present today, which has to do with large amounts of money for small offices, and to not get distracted by the wild antics of last night. And with this action being moved back until next month, I would really like for everyone to not forget about what actually brought her here today, and that she should absolutely be removed from the Board of Canvassers for just a blatant conflict of interest and an absolute disrespect for democracy, which is our most sacred right to vote. So I just would really like to thank you all for your work in bringing this forward today, and to urge people to not lose sight of the very small things that bring us to very big decisions. Thank you.
Thank you for those comments.
And then the next comment is from Jadana Dingus. I hope I pronounced that right.
Hi, good morning.
Hi, good morning. Thank you so much. And yes, you did pronounce it right, and I appreciate it. My name gets mangled a lot. Thank you so much for allowing us to speak during this meeting. I think it's very important for people to be heard. I believe that I am a resident of Grosse Pointe Park as well. And I believe that Monica Palmer and William Hartman should be removed from the Wayne County Board of Canvassers. I believe that in their positions, they're really supposed to be securing votes and ensuring that people feel like they have a voice. And instead of trying to nullify votes and silence people. I was so disturbed by their behavior last night. I can't even, the emotions that I feel, I can't even, it's just so disturbing to me. As we all know, people literally died for us to have the right to vote, and we will not.
Oh, your audio stopped, Ms. Dingus. I'm sorry. Your audio stopped. Oh, and Ms. Dingus, we lost your audio.
I'm not sure if she can hear us. Ms. Dingus?
I can hear you.
Okay.
Yeah, your comments cut out part way. Your audio stopped part way through your comments.
I am sorry. I was saying, I'm sorry, I became very emotional. I was just saying that it's unbelievable to me in 2020 that we are still dealing with this type of blatant racism and voter suppression. Monica Palmer and William Hartman need to be removed from the Wayne County Board of Canvassers, period. Their behavior was outrageous. Outrageous. We saw it on the local level. It's been seen nationally, and it's been seen globally. They need to be removed. Period. Thank you so much.
Thank you for those comments.
And then the next one, Kelly Goldberg.
Good morning, Ms. Goldberg. Good morning.
Actually, I apologize. I did not intend to speak.
Okay. Mr. Slezak, is there anyone else?
Not that I see. I guess we can open it up to whoever else would like to make public comments, but please do spell your name.
Okay, at this time.
Yes, yes. I do have my hand raised. I don't know if you look there.
Yes.
My name is Brenda Hill. Don't mangle the hill. Yes. I witnessed something so reprehensible last night by the behavior of Monica Palmer and Mr. Hartman. But you're here today on the fact that she may have misused her PAC. That's a pattern of her. It's so racist and biased and unethical. And I don't know if it's in your purview to remove her, or maybe my better question is, do we have to file a separate complaint with the board, Wayne County Board of Ethics, on her behavior from last night? In August of this year, there was quite a contentious meeting at the Wayne County Board of Canvassers, but it was clearly stated that any wavering of the numbers was not in their purview. That was not what they were there for. They were there to certify the elections through the objections of other people, because there had been some other blatant inconsistencies in other states. And then last night, while white cities, majority white cities who had worse issues with their election were allowed she said we're going to be allowed to be certified, but yet Detroit not be certified. And I don't know if you know who I am. I have some issues with the elections. What I heard was so egregious. In my lifetime, I have not seen such blatant bias, open bias and racism from an official, and an official who has the power over our votes. That is sacrosanct. One of our powers as an individual citizen of this country, for her to haphazardly try to deny us what she was allowing in other cities that had done worse in their elections. She needs to be reprimanded, censured, and if she can be removed, let's do that. And if we need to file a separate complaint, let's do that too, and bring her back to the Wayne County Board of Ethics. Thank you for my time.
Thank you for that comment, Ms. Hill. Is there any other speakers at this time? Any other comments?
I would like to echo what others have said about why Ms. Palmer has been brought to this committee in the first place.
Can you just state your name, please?
I'm sorry. Yeah, my name is Andrea Joy. I'm a Wayne County resident. I'm calling in from Grosse Pointe Farms, where I live. And yes, what she did last night was reprehensible, racist, and anti-democratic. It was really disturbing that she and Mr. Hartman would just bring that. I'm losing the words, because what I really want to say, yes, that was all terrible. I'm glad people are speaking out about it, and I'm glad it got the attention it deserved. But the reason why she's here today is because of that PAC money and her conflict of interest with the Grosse Pointe School Board, and residing over that election in the Board of Canvassers is unethical. And thank you for hearing this and letting everyone speak.
Okay, thank you for that comment, Ms. Joy.
Was it cool?
Is there any other comments at this time? Any other comments at this time? Okay, not hearing any other comments, I'm going to move forward on the next item of our agenda, which is item number G, which is an adjournment of this meeting. At this time, the chair will accept or entertain any motions to adjourn at this time.
Motion to adjourn.
Is there a second?
Mr. Chairman, excuse me, before we do this, and out of consideration for the many folks who came forward during the public part of our meeting, the matter pertaining to what most of the public comment was about will be taken up in our January meeting. Is that correct? Is that what you anticipate?
Yes, at this time, the chair does anticipate the date that we set was a date to give all parties the opportunity to respond to the complaint, and if there's any counter responses. Therefore, that date we did set for the date that we set, January 20th, 2021, would allow all those documents to come in. It would give them the ample time to respond, and at that point, we will actually have a hearing on this matter. So that is the chair's anticipation.
Mr. Hendricks, I'm sorry.
Yes.
The heart of the complaint doesn't have to do with the certification of the votes last night.
I'm fully aware of that. I'm fully aware of that. I know it has everything to do with the matter in the school campaigns in Grosse Pointe, but for purposes of all of the folks who provided public comment today, I just wanted to make sure that they were aware, especially if they came on the call after that date was set, that there will be a matter brought before our committee, our board, on January 20th. And I just wanted to make sure that that was out there for the record.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you for that comment, Mr. Hendricks. Is there any other comments from any other members at this time? Okay, if there's no other comments, is there a motion to adjourn? The chair will entertain that at this time.
Yep, I put a motion to adjourn.
Support.
Second. Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
All opposed? The ayes have it. So moved. This meeting of the Wayne County Ethics Board has been adjourned. The motion is adopted. And I want to thank everyone for being present today. Thank you all for logging in, the type of people who've taken the time to log in to view this meeting and to make your comments. I as always thank my board members for showing up and appearing. It's always good to see you guys, and I hope everyone stays safe during this current environment that we're in. Until we see each other again in January, I'm going to wish everyone happy holidays. I may not see anyone next week, which is Thanksgiving. So again, happy holidays to everyone who celebrates the holidays. And I'm looking forward to seeing everyone in the new year. Thank you so
All right,
much.
thanks. Take care. Bye.
Holidays, you too.
Thank you.
Take care.
All right, take care.
Bye-bye.